Alright, good day. Actually, let's make sure this thing's picking up sound. Yes, it is. Good, awesome. Welcome to whatever episode I'm on. Episode 14. There we go. That's how much I'm really paying attention to my own game. So, episode 14 and the very first session of the Keep on the Borderlands. Now, this is this module I've never really played through much of. I ran a D&D 5th edition conversion, which I picked up on DM's Guild Drive-Thru RPG. I mean, same thing, but, you know, whichever side of it. And I tried to run that for a small group, only to find out that even with D&D 5th edition rules and how difficult it is to die, the first fight they got into was a TPK. And I think it was a bunch of goblins. So, what I have done, just so we understand what we're doing here, our future PCs are here. We may add one or two of these still before we head into the Caves of Chaos, which is kind of the central point for adventuring in, or the main area for adventuring in the Keep on the Borderlands. The central point for everything that happens kind of is the Keep itself, which for my campaign I have named Fenris Keep. So we're going to just kind of slip over to the map. So as you recall, if you've been, if you happen to be following along here, we've created the map here and some distance away from our original starting point at our first adventures of Port Cyric. So I kind of wanted to, well, what I was doing it was okay. It wasn't quite working for me, so I figured it might be better just to kind of ease myself into the hex crawl game with a little more, a little more structured play, I guess. So I am going to shift us over here. We are going to be very soon arriving at Fenris Keep. It's pretty much as soon as I kind of start this off. And I've kind of built the area out. So I can't remember whether this accurately reflects the actual scale, but this is the scale I'm going with here. Zoom in here. So Fenris Keep is kind of on a little bit of a hilly area here. I've sketched out the roads that the game has, and whether this is the proper scale or not, it doesn't really matter. This is what I'm going for. So we're going to pick up a few months later. So when we started off here, it was spring. It is now summer. Actually, I'm going to bring up my campaign stuff here because we're in summer. Oops, wrong one. I need my notes. So now we are going to be shifting to, we were late spring, now we're in midsummer of the year 976. We're adding a couple new characters here. Phaestus was going to be our first level fighter, and Eddard is going to be our first level cleric. Our NPCs don't matter as much at the moment. I haven't really been updating that very well anyway. I'm going to need to come back to it at some point. Our adventure lists here, which we are actually going to need to zoom back out of here. We only have their long-term threads, and we have one character here that we will need to eventually kind of revisit. Or that is the plan anyway. So let's kind of do this here. So we'll start off like a traditional D&D adventure. The Keep on the Borderlands isn't, which, just so, in case you don't know anything about Keep on the Borderlands, it's from the B series of, old school D&D, like, kind of that original D&D through BECMI, BX, kind of stuff. This one was published in 1980. So came out several years before I started playing, and it is considered a classic. It was for the D&D basic set. The B series are pretty much all 4 characters levels 1 to 3-ish, which is basically what that's what the D&D basic set was set up to deal with. Those early levels, right? So, and the Keep on the Borderlands started off, but didn't really have like looking through it. It doesn't have a lot of these kinds of things, but it does start off with the DM reading off. Reading off of a script. So we're going to start there. You've traveled for many days, leaving the realm and entering into the wilder area of the Borderlands. Farms and towns have become less frequent, and travelers few. The road is climbed higher as you enter the forested and mountainous country. You now move up a narrow rocky track. A sheer wall of natural stone is on your left, the path falling away to a steep cliff on the right. There is a small widening ahead where the main gate to the keep is. The blue-clad men-at-arms who guard the entrance shout at you to give your names and state your business. All along the wall you see curious faces peering down at you, eager to welcome new champions of law, but ready with crossbow and polearm to give another sort of welcome to enemies. So we start off in the keep here. We're going to pull... So I've found a copy of the keep that somebody created. And here is our road. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing here. We're going to use the little party icon. And they arrive at the keep. So I've called this, instead of a mountainous region, I've called this hills. Because when you kind of look at the overall view of the area, it doesn't really strike me as a mountain, but I know there are some, it's kind of up a cliff. So I'm thinking of this as kind of like a rather large hills, but still. The party here arrives at the front gate, which, so this whole place is well organized for security and for defense. In time of need, many civilians can arm and man the walls. At the moment, we have sentries who are alert. A party of guards patrols the walls irregularly, and a commander checks every half hour. Right, so we have guards kind of up on the guards up on the wall, as well as guards kind of behind the wall there as well. And as the party approaches, this is some months later since the adventures in Port Cyric, and Leocadia and Rowan have picked up 2 new members since their travels then. A fighter going by the name of Phaestus, kind of the almost barbaric looking dude there, and a cleric of lawfulness, going by the name of Eddard. They've been traveling together for a little while, and they are heading to the keep, this keep on the Borderlands. The reason, now, so information, so I know that we have a floor plan, whatever, but we have an information that can be gathered of the keep, by the player characters within the keep from the people who live there. But I can give 1 rumor to each player as starting information. I'm thinking what we're going to do here is roll, and we're going to roll and see kind of what the rumor might be. This is probably what brought them here. So the party arrives at the keep's front gate and are challenged to state their names and reasons for being at Fenris Keep. What brought them there? All right, let's make a random roll here. So it's a D20. That's a 7. All right, so the rumor that they hear, won't put it there. So the rumor that they've heard probably, some weeks ago, I'm thinking, is, if you get lost, beware the Eater of Men. That is one rumor. You know what? I think I'm going to give them a second rumor, because that is not much to really kind of get them moving. Another rumor they've heard prior to arriving. I'm going to give them a second rumor. We've got 4 party members if I need to. Alright, there we go. Tribes of different creatures live in different caves. So, the party is seeking treasure in those caves. They have heard of the Caves of Chaos. So, that is the reason that they're here. They've heard it's dangerous, clearly, because they understand if you get lost, there's the so-called Eater of Men. Sorry, I shouldn't make finger quotes. It's very dorky. There's the Eater of Men out there somewhere in the area, whatever the hell that is, right? But they've also heard of tribes of different creatures living in different caves. That means treasure. That means experience points, to be very gamey about it. But that is essentially what they've that's basically what they know at the moment. That's what they know. Number 1 here. So we're going to come back here. These are notes about the keep, sorry. The main gate. So, I'm going to try to keep track. On the main gate. Oops, let's try that again. As they approach the main gate, there are 2 towers 30 feet high with battlements. They flank a gatehouse that's 20 feet high. All have holes for bow and crossbow fire, and a deep crevice in front of the place is spanned by a drawbridge, which is currently up. So actually, I'm going to back them up. They have not. That is a crevice. They cannot pass that yet. There's a portcullis at the entry and large gates at the far end of the passage. The passage is about 10 feet wide and high, the ceiling above pierced with murder holes. It's basically a way for, like, you kind of, as people kind of enter the area for a gate, you can shoot right down at them with very little risk to yourself, right? They can't really see this at the moment, so basically, either walls either side slitted for archer, right? So it's obvious that the building is constructed of great blocks of the hardest granite, undoubtedly common through the entire fortress, and 2 men-at-arms are behind that they have not dealt with yet, or not been able to see yet, because the drawbridge is blocking them. So, an armored man up above calls down, "State your business at Fenris Keep!" And just want to see if there's anything else that they want to be checking for. So yeah, blue clad. So yeah, they are the armor is dyed or painted blue. State your business at Fenris Keep. Give your names and your occupations. Leocadia looks slightly concerned, but she keeps a steady demeanor when she's looking up. But her companions, one of which has been with her now for a few months, and the others for at least several weeks. I don't really know how long. Notice kind of the slight difference in her demeanor when this question is asked. Phaestus steps forward to address the guard, and he looks up. "Hail! My name is Phaestus. I am a warrior looking for, well, enemies to kill beyond the border. These are my companions. Leocadia, she's a, Leocadia looks at him, she's like, "Tell them I'm a fighter. Yes, she is a fighter. A swordswoman of incredible skill. Don't push it too hard. Mediocre skill. The young man Rowan, he is an apprentice magic user, capable of, well, some things. Eddard here is an old friend, cleric. He has the ability to, well, not much yet. Phaestus is not good at selling the party, but nobody said thief or rogue, and they've indicated that they are going to be out, going beyond the border to kill creatures. Stand by! We shall lower the drawbridge. Do not attempt to enter until you have been cleared by the men-at-arms. Awesome. So the drawbridge is lowered, and beyond are two men-at-arms. Again, blue-clad. You know, their armors have been dyed or painted blue. And they approach as the drawbridge is lowered and the portcullis kind of beyond is raised. Each is clad in plate mail and carries a pole arm. They exit across the drawbridge, holding their pole arms steady. Phaestus, you and your companions may enter the keep. However, keep your weapons away. We do not tolerate any acts of violence from outsiders here in the keep. But do you tolerate them from insiders? There are no acts of violence in the keep, Phaestus. Keep your weapons away. If you draw them, you shall die right here on this bridge. Right there? Just keep your weapons away. Okay. Let's go. And Leocadia kind of looks up. She's like, I really hate it when he tries to be the leader. Is Phaestus a smart man? Phaestus is an average man with everything except his strength. They enter the keep, across the drawbridge. And stating, yeah, they are... Okay, they enter the keep, and beyond, what do we have here? We have more granite work, of course. They now enter the keep, being told they are allowed in. The flanking towers are there. We have an entry yard. Is that kind of what we're looking at here, I think? Yeah, I believe this is basically what we're looking at. So the entry yard is alright, so basically this narrow place is paved. All entrants, save those at the garrison, will be required to dismount and stable their animals. They don't have that. The corporal of the watch is here. I'm still a little confused as to where this is supposed to be, but I believe it's kind of this area here. Okay, the corporal of the watch is there. So he's dressed in plate mail and carries a shield. He's got a sword and dagger at his waist. The corporal is rather grouchy with a low charisma. Okay, awesome. But he admires outspoken, brave fighters and easily taken in by a pretty girl. Okay, we only have one woman, Leocadia, probably is somewhat attractive, but she's not very charismatic, so we're calling that kind of, that's not really going to work so well. There's also a scribe next to him with a book open. Take their names and occupations. And write them and just kind of make notes here. So yeah, so the corporal of the watch, the the portcullis is lowered again and the drawbridge raised once they're through, and the corporal of the watch and a robed scribe are standing there or sitting there at a table set up, and the corporal of the watch, stands up, looks each of them up and down. There are and two others, basically. There are actually two other men-at-arms. The scribe is sitting. The large tome, and he's holding a quill, and sure, I don't know why I'm worrying about this many details, but the corporal addresses them. "Welcome to Fenris Keep. Names and occupations." And Phaestus goes, "We just provided that information at the front gate." "Yeah, or you're going to provide it again, or you're going to leave." "Very well, very well. My name is Phaestus," and he goes through the rigmarole again. Leocadia doesn't, necessarily look like a thief in any particular way. She does have weapons, so, I mean, I don't believe they have any reason to suspect that she is anything more than a warrior. So they take their names and information. We need kind of a name, I think, for our corporal of the watch, and possibly the scribe as well. 1 second here. Alright, I'm just grabbing our Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which has a list of names, of course. Let's give, since he's a little gruff, let's give him let's give the corporal a Norse name. 20. Corporal Bodil. So there we go. Corporal Bodil. The scribe. Let's give him. What kind of name do we want to give him? Something English. Give him an English name of some sort. Also 20, okay. Conrad the Scribe. Conrad the Scribe. Awesome. Okay, so we have two characters here. So we know Corporal Bodil is kind of a gruff individual. Ooh. Gruff, grouchy, raspy voice. There we go. Conrad the Scribe. We don't really know much about Conrad the Scribe yet. I'm not even going to worry about it because he just takes their names and occupations and says really doesn't say anything to them. Just takes the information that's provided. Cool. So from there ahead we can see the stable. So there is a stable here. This is the part of the building. This is actually a warehouse, which they're not going to worry about. So Phaestus, in speaking with I think Phaestus, in speaking with the corporal, asks where they might get a place to stay. "Where might we sleep tonight?" Well then, do we have a place to sleep? What is the answer? Do we have a place they can sleep? There is an inn. Yes, the Traveler's Inn. You'll want to speak there. You'll want to head there, the Traveler's Inn. Around to my right. He's facing towards the gates. Goes around to my right and straight towards the western side of the keep. You'll keep an eye out for it. Near the Fountain Square, you will find the Traveler's Inn. Awesome. Cool. And where might we get a also next door to the Traveler's Inn, connected to it, you will find the tavern. Very well, very well. Do not cause any trouble while you are here in my keep. Leocadia steps forward. Please forgive him. He's not the sharpest. Not a problem, good corporal. We will behave. We have no intention whatsoever of doing anything to disrupt your keep. We're here simply to venture out into the Borderlands in search of, well, fame, fortune, riches, anything on the mind of a typical adventurer. Very well. Be gone with you. Welcome to Fenris Keep. Okay, cool. Traveler's Inn, and the next door, and the nearby tavern. The party heads further into the keep. So they head further into the keep. They don't need the stables or the warehouse, so they're not really worried. They're kind of walking through this way. Through here, all these sevens here are several apartments. Basically, they're housing for those with a little bit of money. Number 8 here is a smithy and armor, which Phaestus takes an interest in. He loves a good blade. He is a warrior after all. And they kind of make their way through, passing the apartments. The number 9 here is a provisioner. Apparently it is common for them to find to have adventurers coming through, because this is essentially a place to buy equipment that adventurers need. But they don't really need that at the moment. They continue on, passing number 10, a trader, dealing in armor, weapons, and large quantities of various goods as well. They are going to bypass that for now and continue on, coming to Fountain Square. There's a large gushing fountain in the center of the square. And beyond to the north is the Traveler's Inn, and this is the Traveler's Inn and the tavern. Awesome. So what's 11? Can we see what 11 is? Ooh, a bank. That is a bank. Specializing in loans. Okay, they main road, heading toward the square, Fountain Square. Oops. All right, at Fountain Square, they head around, and at Fountain Square, Leocadia stops them. She's like, Phaestus, for once, let me do the talking. Once again, you are not in charge of this party. I am fighter. I am in charge. No, we've been through this before. Rowan and I started this party. We found you two. You're welcome to join us. This is my party. Rowan goes, and mine? And Rowan's. Let me do the talking. Things don't go well when you do. Things go just fine. The last time we went through this, you started a bar brawl by trying to order a beer. Very well. Very well. Okay, let me get us some rooms. Alright. Talking, she also stresses that Phaestus is not in charge. It's because he, in part because he causes trouble. And she tells them that the party is hers and Rowan's. They were invited along. Okay, they steer towards the Travelers Inn, which is number 14. Really should be travelers for plural here, right? They steer towards the Travelers Inn. They walk in the front door. The Travelers Inn is a long, low structure. They don't know this yet, but it has 5 small private rooms and a large common sleeping room for a full dozen. So private rooms will cost, well, we'll worry about that next time, because actually I'm just going to leave it there. They have just entered into, so let's keep them at the doorway. They've just entered into the Travelers Inn, and that's where we're going to pick up next time. So whether you get no XP earned, they are still very XP-less. I believe Leocadia's got a little bit. She has a whopping 147. Rowan has a whopping, let me make sure spells are good. Yeah, we're fine. 141. Phaestus and Eddard are both new. They have 0 XP. And that's where things kind of will leave off for now, because I need to jump off and do some other stuff. So, alright, well, if you are watching, thanks for tuning in, and take it easy.